Okay, the time last lap was a 1:27.8.
All right, everyone, welcome. We are here for Division 2, Round 10 at Suzuka, Japan. It's already, as soon as we get into this foggy session, a little bit cloudy here. So I'm old mate James, and with me I've got Baz here in the commentary box. How you going, Baz?
G'day. Very excited for this one here, James, especially after Hungaroring last week, right? And how that ended with the slip and slide. A lot of rain right towards the end of that one. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one here at Suzuka. Of course, one of probably the most top fan favorite tracks, I want to say. Probably definitely up there for all of these guys. And of course, well, I want to say probably one of the most fan favorite tracks in the world, right? Out of a lot of major tracks worldwide. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys do well around this track, whether it be from the Formula Ones itself or because if you're into racing at all, you played a lot of Gran Turismo, a lot of Forza, or even some of the more of the other hardcore sims, you've most likely taken a liking or maybe disliking to Suzuka itself. So it's going to be a fun one here, of course.
Very
It's going to be great
famous.
qualifying. And yeah, like I mean, you mentioned James, that fog coming out, it seems to be Division 2 added again, right? We can't just have a normal session. Can't be normal qualifying already. Always has to spice it up a bit. And that warning, by looks of it, of rain on the horizon, it's seems to be out once again.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get a repeat of what happened in, was it Division 2 or Division 1 at Singapore, where the qualifying session started off really wet and then actually dried out. So by the time we got to the end, if you weren't out on track at the end of the session when it dried out, then you missed out. But it looks like it's not actually wet enough at the moment for anyone to be using Inters. So it's just sort of threatening rain at the moment. It's not actually anything out there.
Yeah, that was good old Division 2 because that was a crazy qualifying, a crazy race all round as well. And again, there might be a chance of rain. Of course, unfortunately, we can't tell for you guys. We'll have to wait and see ourselves unless we get a little ping from one of the drivers or someone who's in close contact with one of the drivers at the moment. But I mean, even that warning, right? Even the likelihood of it appearing can definitely be in the back of a lot of these guys' minds here and how they want to tackle the track. I mean, one of the major things we talked about when the Singapore qualifying was happening was even just the downforce setup, right? Do you set up more for the qualifying and hope they'll stick for the race, or do you just sacrifice a bit of time in qualifying to have that perfect race setup and win the race obviously that way and make sure you can stick to it that way? So we'll have to see how these guys will tackle it. I mean, for now, again, because it's not very clear, but clear nonetheless, right? They say should be pretty okay with their usual setups, the go-to setups for these drivers here at the moment. But yeah, we just have to keep an eye on that weather because I mean we've had it in Mexico, we've had it in Singapore, and we even had it last week at the Hungaroring.
I
So I
think, yeah,
mean,
Div 2 is starting to get notorious for finishing the race on the wet weather tires, isn't
yep.
it?
So, and quite a few guys even been caught out straight into the walls as well, or oversteering with the wet as well. And nice little ticket, Pirelli wall, an F1 branded wall. You know, you never know, but that's probably gonna be the worst, right? Where you've crashed your car and just got the F1 game symbol right in front of you. That's just to remind you, you know, the game you could be playing, but you're in a wall. So it is what it is. But first few times coming out, looking
Yeah.
at the 130s to kick things off. Should be seeing the time go up a lot more than that by the end of qualifying. We're expecting, well, James, we'll have a discussion about that, right? But we were saying the 128s, but we might even just see the end of the 129s being an average.
Yeah, so I think these are very clearly just sort of banker laps at the moment. The guys are just making sure they can get around and set a somewhat decent time to just get on the grid. And there's our first sort of lap, picking up the pace a little bit with Chu, title contender for the Drivers' Championship here in Div 2, and he sets a 29.6. I think we will see that come down a little bit more, but I don't know by how much.
Well, good to point out anyway, because Chu, the winner of last week's race at Hungaroring, was 1-2 for Mercedes, because they've got a new sub-driver in Salty. As I say that, is in the
Oh,
and he is done and dusted. Obviously, Panache as well has also had a major slide out on those medium tires. I've got yellow, red sectors everywhere at the moment. Another McLaren as well, also out there on the dirt. Foxy, unfortunately, being caught out by the S's in Sector 1. So quite a lot of spinneroonies all around the track here at the moment.
that's
With
that's
one of
the
the Mercedes guys already out.
that's the second time Foxy has gone off track there in the S's on a hot lap so far. So he's tried to set 2 now and not made it through that sector 1 in the S's.
Yeah, potentially a downforce, just general car setup issue, or look to get fixed up shortly himself. I mean, his teammate Kiwi did manage to set a 130.3, but he's going very, very slow through Sector 1 here at the moment. Might be a lack of fuel even already this far into the qualifying. We'll have to wait and see, but I was about to highlight, you know, how great Mercedes were. They cleared 1-2 at Hungaroring. They seem to have broken the curse. Of course, Chu is the mainstay driver, but they do seem to keep swapping drivers out left, right, and center, either for a second place or when Chu's unable to compete. And unfortunately, they do seem to get, I don't want to say the bottom of the barrel, but I mean, other guys haven't really been showing up, right, James?
Yeah,
In a
I
lot of the
think,
races.
yeah, I wouldn't say bottom of the barrel. They've had reserve drivers who, unfortunately may not have as much time to commit to the game or as much time to practice through the nature of being reserve driver. So they've just sort of been suffering a little bit potentially as a result of that, especially in the constructors championship. So as you said, Chu doing a solid job so far throughout this Division 2 championship, but Mercedes as a whole was really not doing well until the last what would you say, Baz, 3 weeks where they've started to actually do quite well. They had a 1-2 and yeah. They had a 1-2, was it last week, I believe? And then the week before that, they had not bad results as well. So they're starting to actually get back up there in contention for the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, I mean, finally back into second place. Haas not too far behind them. We know the Haas guys are pretty consistent throughout. We know they're always very tough, but it's really a lot of the constructors in general, right? That seems to be potentially where the main battle is. Yeah, there's a big main battle between the top 3 at the moment, of course, and then from about 4th to about 9th or so, we tend to see regular contenders here in Div 2 battling it out. But even the constructors are super tight here. Positions changing left, right, and center every single week because of the results coming out. So definitely keep an eye on that. Of course, we'll give you updates on that all throughout tonight's stream on how that's looking at the moment. But Wobbsy's going to come out with a 129.7. Speaking of the top 5, currently 4th now. The Haas driver here, Wobbsy. We had a chat with him an interview with him actually at the end of last week. You know, he was pretty excited to jump into this one, of course, after breaking the curse of the lap 1 incidents for about 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Finally was able to get such a great showing at the Hungaroring last week, and was now looking to hopefully replicate that and do one better here at Suzuka, as we see Champagne out there. You know, just chilling. I think just watching, getting a roadside seat. A lot of the drivers here, Champagne, having it rough for a number of weeks now, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've seen them actually not qualify a couple of times in some of these recent races, and I'm not sure if that's been because of computer or hardware issues. Because there actually was more than one session where they didn't DNF, but they still just failed to set a time. So yeah, having a very rough one here.
Red as well. So hopefully we're checking Champagne and he's able to settle out hopefully a little bit later on. We'll have to wait and see for that one. But yeah, looking like we're still getting that 129, 130 range of times at the moment. I mean, Chu, of course, was the first one to set that 129. Already blasted the Academy head time, which was a 129.9. Just last night, caught out by, I believe you pronounce it as Rodriguez?
Rodriguez, yeah, Rudy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he had that 129.9 already blasted out by 4 drivers here in Div 2, which should be expected, of course. But should be seeing those times start to drop.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen that time come down at all. Chu's on another hot lap at the moment here. He's just exiting the end of the S's, so we'll see if he can improve his Sector 1 time in just a moment. And he doesn't. He's 300s over, but that's easy to make that up. So he's on track to match his lap. We'll see if he can make an improvement here. Goes around the hairpin, all the way down to second gear. Short shifts on the way back up. It's looking good so far. Ooh, hopefully that Red Bull there didn't interfere too much. It looks like he was out of the way. Comes down into the spoon. Doesn't invalidate on the exit. Looking good so far. We'll get his Sector 2 split in just a moment as well.
Ooh, it's going to be very close, isn't it?
He's 2/10 down, almost 3/10 down. So this is looking very good. As we're saying that as well, Shanuti pips him off of provisional pole. So he needs to, this is looking good for him to take it back. Rear end gets a little bit loose there. He does improve. He improves by 2.5 tenths, but it's not enough to get his pole position back off the Ferrari driver Shanuti.
Still a huge improvement nonetheless, right, coming through. And like there's 1 or 2 instances where he might have went a little bit too slow, or maybe have to catch the car a little bit. Of course, still has a bit of time. I think it's about 7 minutes or so left here in the qualifying. But how's that for Shanuti out of nowhere here, though, right? The Ferrari guys have been plagued with a few issues. Drummer 2 weeks in a row. Shanuti's teammate has DNF'd in both qualifying and the race. So he's obviously looking to try and improve on that. One of our fellow Academy commentators here for ARL. And there's Shanuti coming out with a 129.2. It seems like every single week, this man's getting faster and faster, better and better. He's starting to challenge a lot of that. This is going to sound like a weird statement, but you understand me when I get into the race if you are just joining us for the first time. That top field of just midfield drivers, right? It's like getting in amongst them, of course, the Red Bulls, some of the Williams, the AlphaTauris, some of the Aston Martins, of course, and SGN, kind of starting to challenge some of those guys in the races now as well. Just wasn't able to capitalize and, I guess, stay consistent towards the end of the race. So hopefully this big qualifying time will at least keep him in that top end of the field. I mean, no, the only one that's slightly close, like we said, is Chu, right? And he's still a fair bit off himself here at the moment. So that's going to be very great for the Ferrari guys. Should be comfortable, and it puts a little bit of pressure on Drummer to hopefully improve on his 131.9 as well.
Yeah, I think this is one of those tracks as well where I feel like it's almost better to start in third than it is to start in second, simply because if you're, those odd numbered pole positions, you're starting essentially on the racing line and have the straight run down into the entry for the first corner, whereas if you're an even numbered position, you're starting on the right hand side, you essentially have to battle even harder for a position going into the first corner, and it just makes it a little bit more difficult into the first corner and then flowing through the S's. It can sort of ruin your mojo a little bit there. So Yeah, Chu being in second position there, or provisional P2, is a bit annoying for him. But as I say that, Cairo comes in with a 29-2 as well and pips him down to third.
Just missed shy of that first place over Shinudi. But we'll be more than happy to take that, of course. The current drivers lead champion here at the moment in Kinkaro, of course. That's a fantastic few races recently. And in Hungaroring, it was a little bit rougher for him than what we're used to seeing. But, you know, as we said, when we were going into that track, it was definitely going to be one of those tracks that was going to catch most of the field out. Probably not one that a lot of people were used to. And it just seemed to be a lot of incidents of right and center as well there that we weren't really expecting at Hungary. So obviously we can see if we can improve on that one here. Or is, yeah, Kinkari, nice second place for him. It's going to put him above Chu. His teammate SGN is also just going to come out with a 129.4 himself. So both Astons sitting there quite comfortably in the top 5.
Yeah, that's a great starting positions for the Astons there. We're on board with Recon here as well. Our winner from Academy last night, he actually did a 20 to a first. Started 20th because he has to disqualify as a Division 2 driver, and ended up winning the race. So we're about to see a pole lap from here. He's
of course, Raj joining us, big boss man of the Aussie Racing League as well. So yeah, definitely make room that Kinkari. Your boss is coming through. I guess you want to go for the race, but that was a very clean final S there. He's going to go to the final right hand. Does improve on the time, but still not going to be good enough.
He did sort of meet some traffic there through the middle of Sector 2 and the end of Sector 1. So I'm not sure if that affected that time by much. It would be disappointing for that. They did look like they tried to get out of the way, but you know, there's certain spots on the track where it's very difficult to do that.
Well, he's looking like he's going to try and improve on the time once again. It doesn't look like he's slowing down too much, and he doesn't have a fuel warning. So should still be pretty much okay. Having to dodge Champagne on the inside, that was almost dangerous there at the moment. Takes the 2 right-handers through Sector 2 nice and cleanly. That one's going to be a point to watch out for during the race as well. There could be a fair few incidents coming out of that one, both corner cutting and maybe even cars going flying off into the dirt gravel. We'll have to wait and see. He's coming up for a spoon right now. Looks like he's, well, because we've got the Sector 2 time coming up very shortly. He should hopefully be improving on this time. Looks like he did fill up the car a decent amount to go for multiple laps, so he probably expected maybe a bit of traffic, or just wanted to make sure he could go back to back here for laps at the moment. Half a second faster. That's going to put him just into the 130 mark, which will get him a couple positions up, but still needs to find a tiny bit more speed through the end of Sector 3, the end of this lap, to hopefully try and improve. Doesn't hug the inside. That's going to cost him time as well. We'll get a nice improvement, 2 positions up into 15th, but probably still not where Recon was looking for here.
He doesn't have that battery to go for another lap again right now either, and we're running short of time in the session, so 1:35 left in the session. So he potentially can get around to do it again, but the question is, can he get around to do another one with battery? Oh, and as I say that, he's actually gone red fuel, so it looks like he will not be able to get another lap in this qualifying session.
Yeah, that'll probably be over and done with. But speaking of guys who are coming out right now, your top 3, Shinudi, Kinkaro, Chu in the qualifying session at the moment, alongside SGN, all on their out laps, all gearing up for one final push. See if anyone can make it to the 128 time zone.
Shinudi's our first one here to start his hot lap, followed by Chu after him, and then Kinkaro will be the third one. So they're the ones to watch for in that order.
Oh, it's a weird looking Alpha parked out there. That was odd to see that one there. Wubsy, has he been taken out of the race, out of the qualifying?
Yeah, he's DNF'd there. See if we can catch a glimpse of that.
On board with Lock. He's like, yeah, he's crashed out right on the inside. That's a very awkward spot.
Is he on the line?
Yeah, I want to catch out one of the Alphas. I was going to say Ames, but he's come flying off. What about the McLaren in Fox C? The car's just despawned.
Yeah, we didn't get to catch that.
I did see I can't remember which car I was looking at now, but it was just, it looked like he was completely crumpled into the inside. So I'm not sure if he tried to go as inside as much as possible, maybe touch grass, You know how bad it is last time we got out there touching grass, and yeah, it sent him straight into the wall and just caught him out on the inside there. So it's gonna suck for Wobbsy, but hey, 5th place, a comfortable spot for him. We know he can do a lot of work from there. Hopefully, it'll be able to improve in his race from that position, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be anyone to be able to challenge that top 5 spot either. So should be okay with that. SGN will just miss out on the time. I say that, and Fluxy comes out of nowhere, the AlphaTauri driver with a 129.3. Got to watch out for these boys. Sometimes
that's
they
an
might
impressive
not
lap
be
by
the
him.
most consistent, but they can be scary with their times.
Shinudi doesn't improve his time. He basically matches it.
And can Cairo come out here? Was he going out a bit slow?
Yeah, it
Did
look like he lost a bit of traction there. So we'll jump on board with Kinkaro just through Spoon. Takes all right.
It seems to be okay.
Stays in 5th. Chu's about to cross the line, and we'll see Chu's time, see if he can improve. And he does. He manages to take that 3rd position back off of Fluxy. So now
moving up into 5th as well. Speaking of that,
yeah,
AlphaTauri 4th and 5th.
There you go. That's a good grid position for AlphaTauri. And let's see if Kinkaro can manage to pip Shinudi off of 1st here.
Yeah, it's going to be close. He tugs into the inside
He
line.
does.
Second.
A 29.195 will be
That
your
inside
pole
dive.
position here, with the exception of
Just get rid of
Champagne.
Oh, come on, Champagne. Come on. Get that improvement.
There you go.
Man.
Does improve. 17th position overall. And that will give us our grid there, guys. That's the end of qualifying. I don't believe we have anyone still out running on the track on a hot lap at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be just waiting on Foxy, so the McLaren guys hurry and put the car in the garage. Boys, come on, chop. We want to get to the race, finally get around to it. And yeah, that'll be qualifying over and done with. So some huge qualifying, some big surprises, I want to say, coming out of qualifying here. At the moment, Kinkara, of course, just sneaking in, but even still, Shinudi up in 2nd place is huge for Ferrari. And I've got to bring up as well the AlphaTauri lads, Fluxy and Bassing, 4th and 5th. I mean, we talked about a little bit off stream before we got into it here as well, James. These 2 lads, I was saying, coming out of full send. I was expecting a lot of the guys in this league coming out of full send, and of course, accelerated as well. To be more towards up this top, to be putting up some of these faster times. And while not all of the guys I was expecting to be up the top in this league did manage to make it in the end, most of them did, and I'm not too surprised to see those guys getting the top 5 in the end.
Yeah, it's a good showing by these guys here. So we've got majority of the grid all the way down to 12th is under a 130. So that's a good effort from all these guys. But yeah, making up the grid, we've got from 1st, we've got Kinkaro, Shinudi, Chu, Fluxy, Bassink, SGN, Wobbsy, Panache, Kiwi, and Werriboi rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, so very strong top 10 lineup there at the moment. Again, we were expecting that 128-ish mark, maybe. I missed the line a little bit. It was a little bit too fast or too short. Or just it's hard for some of these guys to get the times in. Of course, on Suzuka, you can get caught behind traffic fairly easily. We saw a lot of guys were trying to give as much leeway as much as possible, but obviously with the Formula 1 super wide cars, it can be a bit difficult on Suzuka to give some of that room that you need to let some of the faster guys get through. So don't expect that tomorrow in Div 1. You should be seeing 128s. If you're not seeing 128s, if you're seeing an average of 129s, then we need to give those boys a bit of kick up the behind, I think, because the Div 2 guys are going to be chasing them down for some of those Div 1 seats, I reckon. But
yeah, we'll see what the Div 1 times will be tomorrow. I've no doubt they'll be massively reduced again. Some of those guys are just absolutely insane. All right, we should be starting here shortly, guys. There is no formation lap for Div 2. So we should be jumping straight into the race any moment now.
20 seconds to go. I'm keen to see the strats. I mean, we've seen in the past 2 races the return of with a vengeance of the hard compound tire we've been seeing, James.
It's possible. It's possible here. I know at least one of the academy drivers last night made an impressive run on the hards, so it's definitely on the cards.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see if that will be up for option. Of course, the go-to softs and mediums. Always great for these lads as lights are going up here. Race 10 for the ARL Division 2 Championships. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. A huge start there for the midfield at the moment. Kinkari gets a great start off the line as well. Easily sends it into the first couple corners here. No issues at all. And surprisingly, not really seeing much contact between anyone. Seems to be pretty safe through the S's.
Yeah, not seeing anyone spin down through turn one. Very clean so far. While we have got someone in the back. Drummer, and he's DNF'd. He's DNF'd as well.
I've jinxed him again.
Oh,
I can't
no.
believe I've done this.
That's triggered a VSC, so virtual safety, just as the pack comes through the S's. Oh, no.
3 for 3 for races for Drummer, unfortunately. He had it in qualifying. He managed to skip that, but I guess final destination 3 now is coming out, and Drummer's still in it. So tough to see for the other Ferrari driver. He'll have to sit out for the rest of the race and down. Obviously, assist his teammate Shinudi for the rest of this one and gear up for race 11. Hopefully, Shinudi, of course, starting in second, managed to hold on to second, I should add as well, through the tiny couple corners of racing. We did get to kick things off before the VSC. Already a great start. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold on to it with a lot of these top drivers surrounding him. Of course, got to watch out with the VSC. We've seen the Delta has been biting a little bit in the past few weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
Missing out on that.
I think the corners here at Suzuka are not quite as punishing with that Delta just instantly dropping out of nowhere. So hopefully we will see less of that here. But yeah, it still is something that these guys need to be aware of.
Seems to be a severely long VSC coming out.
Yeah.
As well. Some of these guys are going a bit fast. I don't know if maybe this is a spectate issue.
There we go.
No, there we go.
Just
All right, green. So we got pretty much a lap of a safety car. Of course, Drummer, the Ferrari being dragged away now, and now 19 left here. 27 lap race for this championship in Japan.
So the top five have actually not changed position at all, as you said, off the line. And I know we did have a lap of VSC carnage, but for the 3 corners of racing that we had, top 5 have stayed completely where they are, and we've had very minimal position changes for the rest of the race, which is interesting to see. As Kiwi runs a bit wide there, but manages to keep the car on the track.
Yeah, Kinkaro is running away with it at the moment. 1.1 seconds up on Chu's been able to catch up to Shinudi. The battle between Kinkaro and Chu, Hamilton and Verstappen, maybe, if you will, between first and second here. At the moment, it has been a very close battle and points changing fairly often. Where Chu was able to get big points last week and is getting ever much closer to Kinkaro's first place spot. So, bit of pressure on Kinkaro to perform better here this week than when he did at Hikaring last week. But Shinudi still staying up, of course, with second with Chu here at the moment. Should be able to challenge his guys fairly well. Of course, with the AlphaTauri guys still in 4th and 5th respectively. Should probably be seeing Fluxy, I'd expect to be the faster of the two, Bassing being more of a supporting role, but
I don't know about that.
he's getting
I don't know
pretty
about
fast here.
Fluxy's fast when he's, going in a straight line. Nah, I'm kidding,
True.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm
True.
kidding.
I mean,
It's very mean. But yeah,
he did have that one incident in Singapore where Fluxy was crumpled on the side of the road in the rain, and Bassing had to slow drive past him at absolute horror of a similar looking car to his being in ruins. So
it will be interesting though to see if we get any team orders, or if these guys will be able to effectively work as a team and move up through the grid that way. We've actually got locks in the Alfa Romeo spinning there through the S's as well, and not too dissimilar position to where Drummer was when he lost it.
So he's gonna have to try and catch up here. Yellow is out of sector 2 here as well. Not seeing the incident. Looks like SGN has been caught up in something though. Looks at the front left wing. He's taken some pretty hefty damage here, and he's dropped a fair few positions. 12 positions down at the moment for SGN.
Yeah,
So
he
just
definitely got
missed
caught up
out
in
on what
something.
happened there.
Oh, Wubsy actually gets Bass. Wubsy
okay.
actually gets him down that fast left-hander before the chicane.
oh.
Oh no! Oh no!
Bassing did just touch the behind of Wubsy there, getting him into a spin. That's might be one you might want to look at a little bit after this race there, or maybe just close racing and maybe leave it up to you guys to decide. But yeah, very unfortunate there. Bassing, I think maybe just a little bit too late on the brakes. Unfortunately, spins Wubsy out.
Yeah, no. We'll have to see if we
Oh,
can.
and I say that, and Bassing has now sent it as well
Oh
through the
no!
S's.
I wonder if you'd count that as karma or not. I don't know, but either way, that's terrible for those two drivers. But they're actually back next to each other again,
Yeah, I was
so
going
this
to
is
say,
going to
keep an
be
eye on them.
a heated battle here in a moment.
Keep an eye
Ooh,
on this
some
one here at the moment. We've got a almost
recon
multi-car
moving
wide
very
here.
slowly there. So I'm not sure
Yes.
if he was just being careful to avoid people re-entering or what was going on there, but he lost a significant amount of speed without. Didn't look like he spun off the track or anything like that.
Yeah, they actually gave Champagne a position up on Wubsy because of that as well. So that's another hit to the gut there for Wubsy. But we know the man, he's a man of many comebacks. Seen it time and time again, leading up to Hungaroring at least, where he'll have an incident towards the beginning of the race. By the end of the race, he still somehow is in the top 5. So one of the most consistent drivers out there on the field. Keep an eye on him in the position standings, because he'll definitely be there sticking around. So he's going to keep position up to Arson Dash there as well. Maybe he's looking to save a bit of fuel at the moment. Go fuel saving mode and try and save as much as you can. For the beginning of the race, of course, having the yellow at the
Yeah,
moment.
it does. Looks like he
having more
may have
towards the end.
underfueled. He's
Oh,
actually
he's on the
coming into the
pits as
pits
well.
already, so maybe he actually picked up damage at some point there.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe he might have taken damage on top of that. Let's have a look.
Because those softs can take significantly more punishment than just 5 laps around here. This track, although
there's a weight change.
a lot of corners and stuff, it's actually not too punishing on the tires. So we're looking at around 10-ish laps for the softs, up to 20 for the mediums.
And yeah, we've had a fair few wing changes come out. Wubsy and SGN on the hard tires. Foxy deciding to stay on a second set of softs though, however, with maybe to make back early time. We'll have to see if that strategy will be the one to pay off for now. But 5 laps in, already a bunch of really exciting drama kicked this race off.
Yeah, we've got Shinudi managed to actually, unfortunately, lose the position to Chu there, just coming up towards Spoon, and he looks like he's going to be fighting hard. He wants that position back, and coming down to the DRS on the main straight, he looks like he's in a very good position to take it. He has about 20% more of his ERS battery as well.
Not to mention good old DRS active now. Currently, Shinudi and Chu, probably not 2 guys you'd expect to be fighting.
Chu runs a bit wide.
Place.
Oh no, and there's
Spin.
contact!
Oh, that's a huge spin out. It will cause Shinudi to smack him to the back of the wall there as well. Luckily, ghosting is on, so a lot of the surrounding traffic coming through won't have to worry about colliding with the man, but super unfortunate. Both Ferraris in strife in that first sector for the beginning of the race.
Yeah. I wonder, I believe with the damage model for Div 2, you can't obtain rear wing damage, so he should be okay with that. Hopefully he didn't pick up front wing damage from that clip with Chu there. If he didn't get front wing damage, he should be okay. Shouldn't need to pit just yet, but we'll see what he wants to do.
Well, the way he went through that sweeping left-hander, it seems like he shouldn't have wing damage, so he's gonna have to make some positions back up. Luckily, he didn't lose a huge amount, but he's gonna have to have a bit of work to get himself back up in the field, especially with the guys in front of him.
Yeah. So those softs are gonna start to go off though, so we're gonna see pretty much the majority of these guys pit, and that's actually gonna put Nordal and Salty in a really good position here. As those medium runners. Salty up in a 10th, Nordal up in a 6th. Oh, as I say that, he receives a bump from behind from Werribee out of the exit of the final chicane. Manages to keep it all pretty squared away. Doesn't affect him too much, which is good.
Yeah, so I was going to say, very big DRS train. These guys are getting a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for here? Touchy-feely, maybe.
they're very keen. They're very keen.
There's a lot of guys who are being a bit aggressive at the moment and are definitely throwing caution to the wind here.
Ooh.
As I say that, Nordal
Oh.
very wide through that last leg of the sector one, able to just catch on to wherever they did touch the grass with his back right hand tire, but still seems to be okay. Oh, no!
Oh, and he spun. He's
touched the sand on the left hander there and sent it into the wall. The front wing did touch the guardrail. I don't know if it was enough to damage it.
I can't see any end plate damage on Nordal's front wing, so it doesn't look too bad. But there could potentially be damage there. It looks like he did strike it fairly hard.
Yeah. I think the damage at its worst and actually having a front plate gone is having that minor damage. You know, the very light yellow damage that you see come up. The way he's going to that corner here, I think, and at the end of Spoon, I think he might actually have that annoying damage there. So Nordal will probably have to pit after this one to get that wing changed, as we're entering lap 8.
That's really disappointing for him too, because he's on those 6-lap old mediums. He did not want to pit for a while, that's for sure.
Yeah, Fluxy going to be in the pits here. Looking to be the first driver in the pits, not looking at a wing change. First normal change coming out,
Into
going
the
to the medium.
Yeah, I wonder, is he trying to do an undercut there? Because I'm not sure if the undercut is especially powerful on Suzuka. Someone in chat probably will correct me if I'm wrong. But he's also come out sort of in the middle of some fairly decent racing and right behind a DRS train. So the undercut I don't think will be very effective here for him right now.
And you got to remember the undercut as well. Yeah, obviously the track can come into play, but also how good you yourself are at the track as well, right? Definitely comes into play. There's a lot of parts in Suzuka where he can make up quite a bit of time and go very fast. I mean, he's already chasing down Nordal here.
Did Nordal pit? Nordal did not pit.
No, he didn't pit there. So gonna hold on for now and try and keep this medium tire strategy going.
It definitely looks like he has wing damage, though. He's understeering quite badly into a number of corners. Yeah, so I'm not sure if him staying out and not replacing that. Oh, we've got someone off the track there. Was that Nordal? No, that wasn't Nordal. That was the other Red Bull. That's Kevin on Earth. Kevin on Earth loses it halfway round through Spoon, goes off the track and drops a number of positions as a result. Still up from where he started, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to check and tell him he's gone 3 up, and I'm like, well, that's great, but we need to know how many he dropped.
Yeah, I think he dropped about 3 or 4 then. I could be wrong, it could actually be more, but...
Well, he's going straight into the pits at least. Anyway, going to go for that tyre change. Hard tyres.
Oh, he's trying to do the one stop.
So he's gone for the one stop. I mean, we almost saw a perfect hard tyre run last week. 31 laps on hard tires we saw guys coming out on before they had to pit on the last second, which caught them out. So we know the hard compounds can do work, and we know the Div 2 guys can be very fast and very consistent as well. Teammate drama here at the moment though. Kevin on Earth coming out just when Nordal catches up and sends Nordal right off onto the infield there. So hopefully...
Oh, Nordal spun into the wall and he's DNF'd. Is that going to trigger a safety? He is parked right there on the side of the track. We have no safety as of yet.
Let's go look at SGN here real quick.
This is just off the S's, guys.
The Molly wall.
Just off to the right of the S's.
Yeah, I think
no safety car.
Just be safe enough as it is.
Wow.
Just off onto that outside, but there's I think there's going to be some choice words said. In that Discord call at the moment, unfortunately, James, for the 2 Red Bull guys. That was very, very messy between those 2 drivers.
Yeah, that's very sad. Nordal was actually looking to be on for a really good race there. And unfortunately, it's all come apart for him. As we've got Shinudi, the remaining Ferrari driver of the race, dive into the pits, going from the 9-lap old softs onto the mediums. And
with a wing change and a 5-second for going into the pits a little bit too fast. Sometimes, boys, it does pay to have that pit assist left on. Can save you that 5 seconds.
No, it's disabled.
But it's disabled, So, so it's going to catch a few guys. I actually am surprised to have that disabled because that's actually an option on all the cars. So interesting to see that, but it is what it is. And we've had quite a few guys enter the pits, of course. The provisional leader, if you don't count pit stops,
So
currently is Kinkaro on those medium compound tires.
Chu has just come out on the hards. So we've got two different strategies here from these top tier drivers that were first and second until their pit stops. So Kinkaro's come back out on the mediums and Chu's come back out on the hards. Chu, I don't know if he had a wing replacement or not, but he has come back out much further down the pack, all the way in 14th, whereas Cairo is only back in 6th. So
I wonder if that might play into why the hard compound tire was picked up, even to try and get some of those positions back, because the medium compound's great here, but it's essentially turning a strat into a two-stop at least, right? I don't think you're going to get the 17 laps on the mediums. I mean, it's possible. It can be possible for a lot of drivers.
I think it's definitely doable, right? I think the mediums, you're looking at about 20 laps before you're seriously concerned and need to pit. So at this stage of the race, when we've got, what, 16 laps left to go, assuming no safety car, I still think the mediums are better. And if there is a safety car, which, let's be honest, is more than possible, yeah, likely, I'd even go that far, the mediums are even better again.
Yeah, and then on top of that as well, if there is a safety car, no, I was gonna say almost everyone on the hard compound tire. It's not entirely true because of Wubsy and SGN, but at least for Chu, that is the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
then that completely invalidates his strategy. But like, it's a fantastic overtake on the Champagne there into turn one. It locks that one down nice and easy. But yeah, it's gonna be rough for him. Hopefully, he's gonna be able to make the strat stick. I mean, yes, the medium tires can stick around. But I mean, what we're very used to seeing here as well, James, right? A lot of guys, some guys are more than happy to extend the tire life for as long as they need it. But there's a lot of guys here in this field where you get to say the 10, 12, 13 lap mark, they're getting off those tires. They don't want to risk it, right? They don't want to risk a potential maybe slight overheat of the tires and going into a spin or anything like that, or a lack of wear, maybe losing them out half a second or so. So we'll
Yeah,
have to see.
you're
what's around with
absolutely right, Baz. And speaking of that, Bassink
Painful.
on the 10 lap old softs, now 11 lap old, has decided to keep pushing on these tyres. And he's got Cairo behind him on 2 lap old mediums, who is absolutely on his gearbox. He is pushing him down the road at this point. That gap went from more than a second at the start of the last lap to less than 3/10 now and is still closing. Cairo is looking to make this move on Bass here.
Yeah, and this is going to be an interesting battle because, again, I like to bring this up quite frequently, but if there's one driver you can look towards to being the one that can definitely survive, that can last an endurance, that can make the tires and fuel go to the absolute limit, it is Bassing, right? He does have a lot of that experience, a ton of endurance racing experience. He's one of the main drivers for ARL Racing. Of course, the team that represents the Oceanic Rocket League community, right, in racing and iRacing. Done it at Daytona, done it at Le Mans, done it at Sebring, done it at Bathurst, right? Tons of major endurance races all around the world. Yes, a bunch of different car categories compared to the open wheelers, but he's been here since a lot of the big F1 community stuff has started. Kinkaro, though...
Those tyres are off. Watching him through Spoon there, the amount of traction that he lost and then ended up running wide, those tyres are completely off. Kinkaro can't get the move done and will have to yield, but I would not be surprised if we see Bass come into the pits right now.
Yeah, should be expecting it, but no,
No,
he's
he's still going.
He's keeping it
Oh
out, so
my lord.
I've
He's
got a
gonna-
sneaking suspicion.
He's going to lose it to the DRS here anyway.
Can you see the driver that's behind Bassett and Kinkaro?
I do, yeah, Fluxy.
That's if that's not team orders, if that's not defensive play, if that's not ultimate teamwork, I don't know what is.
Bassink's playing the role of Sergio Perez right now. And the team orders are keep him behind you, defend, shoulders out, elbows out.
Yeah, that's.
And he's managed to keep the position even after Cairo basically got him on the straight with the DRS. Bass is still in front.
Yep, and it's one of these tracks I told you, Zuka, if you know where to make the time, you know where to make things count, you can be an absolute nuisance to everyone else around you. And of course, the best part is because of this, he's still keeping up pretty good time here with Salty as well.
Well, look at the gap. Bassink is doing his job perfectly here. The gap between Cairo and Fluxy was 4 seconds, now down to 2. In a second, that'll probably be under as well, under 2. So,
And Baskington was put a second lead up on Kinkara again.
yeah, that was King Cairo made to go for a dive from the inside of the hairpin, realised that was a very silly idea and had to back out, ended up losing a bit of time to Bass as a result.
Definitely going to be a battle of get Fluxy up, get him to take down Kinkaro, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Bassing matches Salty's pit even and potentially goes for that.
Yeah,
For the
wow.
pit stop.
He's still not pitting, he's still staying out. This is insane.
Salty's still out. Fluxy catching up only, I was going to say less than 2 seconds. Now that time is building up a little bit. We're going to Sector 1 again. This is where we saw the challenge before. However, we did see Bassing have an issue here previous in Sector 1. Back in what was about lap 6 or so, actually getting caught on one of the curbs and spinning out. So he's going to be very careful with all this extra pressure not to touch the curbs too much through here as well. Well, look how close Kinkara is.
He's right up on him.
100th of a second up this man's behind and putting that pressure on here. Going through Sector 2 seems to be both be pretty quick through there. Get that pretty much perfect, but Kinkaro is matching the racing line, matching the speed of Bassink now, and this could be where Kinkaro is finally able to get the job done. However, Fluxy is still catching up, 1.9 seconds now, 1.7, sorry, even dropping down, so getting closer and closer here. Oh, it's going to be tough on here leading up to Spoon.
This is
Still
incredible.
manages to hold it.
Oh.
Oh, so close through there as well. This battle for second place is insane. You got to remember, Kinkaro is your current drivers championship leader here at the moment. AlphaTauri, though, you have a fantastic run for constructors. Fluxy not too far behind the other drivers. Bassink's finally having to get the position back, but he's still fighting for it.
Oh, they're very close there. So
Bassink
close.
holds the inside, controls it there. Kinkaro has the other side though. Bassink
Oh my
controlling
God.
the inside once more through the pit,
And he still doesn't pit. Bass still doesn't pit, and Bass actually has the DRS there.
Yep,
Bass stole the DRS.
And a second behind in this battle now. Bassink has been absolutely perfect in this fight here, getting Fluxy up. Kinkaro will be absolutely fuming here at the moment, not being able to pass his
He's going to be screaming. He's going to be screaming right now. As Eckham says in the chat, yeah, we're nominating Bassink for the Australian Minister of Defence.
I mean, I'll give him my vote. Don't you worry. But some of the adminning stuff I've seen him have to deal with in the past, yeah, definitely give him that spot up for grabs alongside this race as well. But Fluxy is right up in this battle now. Should be expecting Bassink to get somehow give the position over to both drivers here in favor of Fluxy very shortly. But now that Kinkaro is in the AlphaTauri sandwich, I'd be worried about Kinkaro. I'd be sweating a little bit right now because you know this build-up has happened now, and the fact that Fluxy is not only being able to catch up, but is now also challenging you while you can't even overtake a dude on 14 lap old softs. It's yeah, I wouldn't be feeling too good about this.
I'd say Bassink will surely be going into pit now. He's essentially done his job here. He lets both of them go. He doesn't even contest Fluxy, obviously. Which just confirms the whole point of that was for team orders, which we already knew, but just goes ahead and confirms that. Fluxy now is actually going to make a run at Cairo with the DRS advantage here. Doesn't have any battery. Fluxy's drained his whole battery to catch up. Cairo 50%, Fluxy 5%. He's harvesting. So it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain within that 1 second gap. If Cairo starts pushing and uses some of that battery, he can get Fluxy out of that 1 second gap.
Yeah, and at the moment it's up for Fluxy to try and build it up. I mean, this is some of the best section of the track to do that with, but with such a difference, right, between the battery build up, it's Fluxy's going to have to probably sit on the back foot for a little bit longer again to maybe look for that second position spot. Bassink finally pitted on the medium compound tire. He's out there through Sector 1 now. Should be expecting him to move up the field very shortly again once more with only 11 laps left to go. I gotta say though, what a fantastic battle we had there for second place, and probably quite honestly, the best use of teamwork I've seen here in ARL games.
Absolutely, massive team player commitment right there, and that's given us one of the battles probably of the season. That was going on for what, 4 laps, potentially more. It was it was incredible.
Yellow sector though, Werribboy's been caught out. He's not out, but definitely in a horrendous spot there. Haven't seen one of the F1s that went by. I didn't see what it was. I believe it was maybe Ames or Arton having to play a little bit of dirt rally for a second. That just go past him. But yeah, very unfortunate for the Haas driver going through that one. I have to see where we have to catch up. Kinkaro gets the fastest lap currently now with a 131.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fluxy has dropped out of that DRS range. It dropped out of that 1 second, and I think that's because, yep, I'm correct, Cairo has drained some of that battery. It's a very good strategic use of that battery to push Fluxy out of it. And Fluxy spun! No! In the S's! He's going to lose the position to Kiwi. He should stay in front of Panache.
Oh no, remember those tires are going to be cooked, so be so careful going through here. That's the second time we've seen an AT guy through Sector 1 absolutely send it. And that is horrendous that has happened there as well. I mean, this guy's being caught out, so much amazing teamwork, so much team play coming out, basically thrown to the wind. Is super unfortunate. He's going to be so far behind. But for Kinkaro's end, the biggest relief, the biggest, I guess, fresh air breath, right? Coming straight to the man.
That takes all the pressure off Cairo and allows him to now just focus on attacking Salty. Salty's started on the mediums, so he's still on the tyres that he started this race, and he's sort of been not forgotten about, but left to his own devices here at the front with all the battling going on behind him. But now that's over. Oh, he actually dives into the pits. He recognises that Cairo definitely has the advantage, and he jumps into the pits. He's going onto the softs.
Yep, soft tires coming out, so not too much of a surprise. Kinkaro catching up to traffic though. Champagne, I believe, being caught up on by Kinkaro here. So now we're gonna have traffic slowly start to become an issue. Kiwi's not too far behind. Fluxy catching up as well. Yes, there's a fair few seconds behind, but the traffic might come into play here into holding up Kinkaro once again.
I think Salty's the one to watch here. So he's on these softs to the end, fresh softs. We will see how much of an impact they can make. He's down in 5th, and how far is he back from the leader? 22 seconds back from the leader with 9 laps to go. It'll be interesting to see if he can make this happen.
So gonna be the first one on those softs. Surprisingly, besides that one Nordal DNF, couple spins, no safety cars at the moment. This guy's been very clean. Kinkaro and almost went for a bit of a drift there, coming out of Spoon. So maybe a little bit of lack of traction out of the end of that corner there. So something the drivers have to be a bit aware of here. But yeah, been safety car free, been pretty safe race, pretty fun race still. Nonetheless, yes, we're not getting the rain antics of Singapore, of Mexico, Hungarian, or the safety cars, the DNF issues we've had, but we've had, of course, one of the most fantastic battles we've seen in any division.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't really need any of that to keep it exciting at the moment. At least after that battle we just had, and it looks like we're looking at having another one shortly with Bassink and Ames. Bassink starting to move back up the field, or has moved back up the field, and is looking to get more positions. He will get Ames with the DRS advantage, but he does burn through some of his battery to do it, and he's going to need that to get all these positions. Oh, and Ames fishtailing hard, spins and is off onto the grass, keeps it out of the wall.
That whole situation there was weird, because even Bassink coming out of that corner, he seemed to have caught the curb and almost slid out himself, lost a bit of speed. I think Ames might have just been caught up in that, maybe touched the dirt as well and sent himself out, unfortunately. So that was just very strange all round by both drivers. But of course, Bassink ain't complaining. He's up in the 6th. He's going to be chilling. And Chu, of course, talking about the Chu story as well. I haven't touched that for a little bit, of course, after that amazing battle for 2nd place here. He's gone back up into 7th after being out on his hard compound tyre. He's 8 laps old at the moment, still looking to make up some spots and try and bring the battle up to Kinkaro, currently in 1st place, but he's still got a huge amount of time to build up when Kinkaro is on the other side of the track.
Yeah, yeah. Hinkara's looking pretty happy here at the moment. He's got a 5 second gap to Kiwi behind him, and then there's an additional 5 or 6 seconds from Kiwi to Fluxy in third. So he's pretty happy at the moment. All he has to do at this point is essentially bring it home. Given, unless something unforeseen happens with the safety car, we can't rule it out at this point. It's definitely a possibility. He will be absolutely spewing if a safety car comes out. And if a safety car does come out, probably the best driver, or the driver in the best position rather, would be Salty on those fresh softs.
Yeah, I mean, he would probably, well, he'd probably move up to first place after that, right, on those softs. And I mean, yeah, sure, the guys behind him would be on fresher softs, but his softs aren't old enough to have to be worried about challenging some of those guys out. And we know that Salty already had a fantastic race here tonight. Yeah, sure, qualifying bit him on the behind a little bit, and unfortunately DNF'd, but he was first place for quite some time, used the medium tires all the way up to their max capacity right before he went out for the softs, and he's still currently in 5th place, hunting down Shanuti at the moment, currently sitting in 4th behind Fluxy. So yeah, it's going to be a tough battle, tough fight still for these guys to keep pushing up, but slowly but surely we are seeing some battles, some final end of race battles start to take shape. And of course, because we are here in Div 2 for ARL, we can never have just a normal finish, a happy finish. There's always going to be some sort of exciting end.
Shanuti in the Ferrari pushes Fluxy wide.
And that's giving Fluxy a 3-second penalty as well.
He was 100% forced to cut there. He had no option. So I imagine that will be removed in FIA. Shanuti, did he pick up that penalty just then? Was that a penalty for a collision?
No, that's that 5 second from the pit lane speeding still.
Oh, it is too.
Yep. That one, yeah. So if he doesn't serve that in the pits, that's going to increase, by the way. So that's going to be absolutely detrimental to the Ferrari team. But I mean, even in third, he gets the fight, gets the extra penalty on top. He probably should still have maybe just under top 5 finish at the moment, looking at timings. But we still have to wait and see. But Fluxy, man, you're going to feel bad for the guy here at the moment. Getting a 3-second corner pad, not to mention, of course, because bringing up again, salt to the wound a little bit. But, of course, that battle for second and being caught out in the curves through sector 1, chasing Kinkaro down. So, down into provisional third at the moment. Yes, he's in 4th, but, of course, that second difference still technically sitting in 3rd place. And both these guys, alongside Salty, he wasn't too far behind himself, have to currently try and chase down Kinkaro and Kiwi. And is it just me, or is Kiwi getting closer and closer to Kinkaro here?
He is getting a little bit closer there, yeah, but I have a feeling that's because Kinkaro is just starting to save his battery. So Kinkaro is back up to the 80% ERS, while Kiwi's still down at that 40% level. And I'm only making assumptions here, I'm having a bit of a guess, but I would say that's because Cairo is worried about that safety car occurrence, and he wants to make sure that if there is a safety car, he has all the battery on the restart. But I don't know, because the people behind throughout the duration of a safety car, you usually get all your battery back anyway. So he should be pushing harder than that. He shouldn't be sitting up on the 70% at the moment.
Yeah, it's maybe saving it for a just in case. But of course, as you mentioned, right, that just in case the safety car. The thing is, we've got a couple laps left before that safety car becomes irrelevant in itself, right? Because there won't be enough laps left. The game goes, nope, there's only a few laps left to the race. Safety car goes bye-bye. No safety car. Even if you have a 32-car pile-up, it doesn't matter. There's no safety car.
I'd be very impressed at a 32-car pile-up in a 20-car race.
Yeah,
something has gone seriously wrong there.
You see, they started the F2 race at the same time, and they stuffed everything up with the timings, and yeah, it's just bad all round. Kiwi, unfortunately, gets himself a 3-second corner cutting penalty as well, so Kinkaro, again, going to be feeling a little bit safer having that, a little bit of a buffer on top of him. Wubsy also gets a 3-second now, so some of these guys you can see starting to push a little bit too hard, maybe, being a bit too liberal with the corners, and starting to eat up those 3-seconders.
Yeah, it might be the tyres sort of starting to get a bit older as well. The cars have less fuel load in them, and maybe the drivers aren't quite accounting for that correctly at this stage of the race. All these things can add to just running that tiny little bit wide, which ends up giving you a few warnings and ending your race. Well, not ending your race, sorry. Giving you a penalty. Hopefully not ending your race, as long as you keep it out of the wall.
I mean, it's been some time since we've seen a penalty, a long list of penalties ending someone's race. I believe we actually saw it at Mexico.
Yeah,
And of
we did.
course, yeah, the walls are. We're going to talk about the walls, especially with Nordal and Drummer being DNF at the moment. It's very
Yeah.
rough for those boys, unfortunately. But only a few laps left to go here for race 10, the ARL Division 2 Championships. Had a Sector 2
Sector
spin.
2.
McLaren.
It's
Foxy being
Foxy.
caught out there on fresh softs. So what happened there? That's a bit odd.
Yeah, I didn't quite see it, but it looks like it was on the exit of the hairpin. I think he's kept it out of the wall, so it doesn't look like he's picked up any damage. He's definitely driving with his damage
What
free.
if we caught the inside maybe a bit too much there, and it's just a little bit unfortunate that it slid him out. The problem is now, though, that's a Kinkaro behind a Foxy, and that's also a Kiwi, his teammate, as well. So there's a bit of traffic as well. And this is where we could see some mind games happening. Because yes, blue flag is a thing, but you don't have to serve it straight away. Of course, you have a bit of ample time to serve it properly. Foxy can still play a few mind games here with Kinkaro to maybe hold him up and maybe get Kiwi to catch up to Kinkaro and have a final battle for first place here.
Yeah, well, there is... So ghosting is on, and there's a fair bit of contention about whether or not does ghosting actually create dirty air for blue flagged cars and things like that. So I'm not sure if it does or not. I've never actually been able to test it enough. But we've got Basink actually setting the fastest lap of the race with a 31.4.
He just got a 3-seconder, and we were saying Salty was the man to watch out for on the soft tyres, but the Minister of Defence seems to be taking it to Salty here at the moment with those 7.5 mediums. They seem to be sticking to him as well. We could even see a 5th place overtake if we can get far enough ahead, even to 5th place lockdown.
Yeah, well, with 3 laps here to go, Basink definitely looking like he can get that position on the track, but that penalty is going to make it very, very difficult for him to keep it post-race.
It's getting very, very close, and you have AlphaTauri Mercedes here, 1-2-1-2. It's I will say great color coding, by the way. Nice and clean coming out, but yeah, there's a fair few penalties. Almost we'll say there's 4 out of 6 people in the top 6 having penalties. It's if Salty asks if he's able to give it a speed, I throw about Basink, but
he's clipped the curb and spoon.
Basink,
yeah.
Just entirely sent it. Luckily, he sent it back then around then because he wasn't too careful. He could have actually been DQ'd by the game for the reverse parking. I've seen it happen in some previous leagues. It was a fair few months back. They might have patched it out. I hope they patched it out because that was a shocking game bug there or DQ there to catch people out. But
I've not seen it here on Japan. I've seen it on Portimao.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a bit on Portimao. Yeah, okay.
On that corner.
Yeah, okay.
It's not nice. It's pretty bad. I hope they have patched that out, or maybe Basing luckily just managed to dodge it. It's a shocking corner to get caught out on like that, especially when you have all that time, like all that runoff. It should be nice and easy, right? But it is what it is, and sometimes some of those problems we just have to build a bridge and get over them, right? It is what it is. But 2 laps left to go, or maybe a lap and a half if you want to be technical. And Kinkaro is still comfortable in the lead here. Foxy's still not having to come into play the blue flag yet at all, but might be coming up very shortly.
No, well, Foxy has those 2 lap odds off, so we've got another spin. Champagne through the S's again. Poor guy, he is having a rough race. He's managed to keep it completely out of the walls, so he hasn't DNF'd like, unfortunately, Nordal and Drummer have, but he's having a really rough race.
Another yellow through Sector 1, I'm not too sure what that one was about, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure, I think...
Going here.
I think that was Panache or Recon? Unsure.
Yeah, I mean, especially as you drive a Panache, I haven't actually heard much from him.
He did have a bit of a rough start. So he was actually up in 5th at one point, and then unfortunately, I think the way the pit stops played out or something like that, I think he may have had a spin as well. He's back down in 12th, unfortunately.
And
another one,
again.
Yeah, another one.
Oh, you hate to see that as well through Sector 1. As well, so that's just going to completely negate that one there. Kiwi, of course, getting overtaken onto Wobbsy. I actually want to point out Wobbsy, In 16th on the softs there, really far behind. That's really unfortunate for the Haas driver there. We're expecting him to do a lot better here, but unfortunately not the case. And also still having a fuel issue having to worry about as well. So,
And again, is
very
that
unfortunate
Foxy
for him.
again? That was Foxy again, and he's
Yeah,
lost his front wing completely
something.
this time,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I mean, I
That's
think
that's his race
self-explanatory.
over.
Yeah, tires were cooked. Still trying to send it like they're not, and unfortunately, he gets caught out, and what's done is done. So he'll be finishing at 17th if Champagne. There's a high chance Champagne may even get a spot up on him yet because of that position, because of that pit stop. Another yellow. Wasn't Foxy this time. I'm
Unsure
trying to
where
see
that
what happened
was.
there.
Unsure where that yellow even was.
Oh, okay.
It's
It
Foxy
says
driving
Foxy
so
slow
slow.
driving.
Yeah,
Right,
because he's lost his front wing.
yeah, so just keeping an eye now on Champagne. Should definitely get the position up on him then. Wubsy comes out of nowhere. Of course, the soft tires, 130.5. If you can't get in top position, I'll take the fastest lap. I'll take that away from you. You won't get that one at least. And yeah, here on the final lap, Kinkaro. Yes, we had that amazing battle for second. But outside of that, this man's been cruising. This man's been chilling. Definitely a contrast to Hungaroring. And definitely going to get some big boy points up there.
Keeps
that
it
first
penalty
place
free
spot.
as well.
Yeah,
Very
and
clean race.
especially so when his main rival in Chu down in 7th won't be getting some of those big points that'll be needed. And Flukesy, who he should have been battling, should have been having good points for, will still get 4th. We'll still get a decent amount of points, potentially even 5th, depending on how penalties and stuff go at the end of the race. But yeah, just Kinkaro, just nice and clean all throughout, and another great run for the Aston Martin driver.
We've got another spin in Sector 1 too. SGN, and he's lost his front wing. So he's going to drop a lot of positions right here in the last lap, unfortunately for him.
Yep, 22 lap old hards will do it to you.
Yeah.
Most likely. But yeah, another great run for a lot of guys here. Another entertaining race coming out. Bassing actually DNF on the final lap. What's happened here?
In the hairpin. In the hairpin.
Right, going to stop to Road Boys Cam on board for just a short moment as Kinkaro is going to pass the finish line here. Just to see how Bassing had this unfortunate incident here. Right on the inside, caught the grass.
Exit.
And touch grass strikes back once again. Bassing, the Minister of Defense is down. Boy, he's going to need a helicopter for that one. But what a way to end the race there for Kinkaro. Taking that one out. Kiwi and Shinudi, 2nd and 3rd as well. I think they're the best results of both these guys all season long. Absolutely fantastic effort from both these boys. Good to see McLaren and Ferrari finally get some big points on the board. They'll be followed up by Flukesy and the Mercedes duo in Salty and Chu for 5th and 6th.
What an excellent race, guys. That's incredible. It's very unfortunate for Bassink. He did such an incredible job defending Cairo on those very old softs. Maybe he should have just stayed out there on the softs, try and send them to the end, because it looked like as soon as he went to the mediums, his race sort of fell apart a little bit.
And here comes SGN over the line. Seems to be missing an important part of the car, but still seems to get 10th, so he'll be happy with that.
He actually, lost minimal places due to that.
Oh, is that the new 2022 look? Is that what they're doing? That's all.
Yeah, I knew they said lower downforce. I didn't know they were going that far with it.
I thought they said something about side pods. It seems to be a whole missing front pod, but that's fine. It is what it is. Logs will cross the line as well, getting that 14th spot there for Alpha as the race will be done and dusted. Foxy will be the last one to cross the line. Unfortunately, will be down in 18th, having a couple major incidents towards the end of the race. I know he didn't seem too happy about the qualifying, and probably won't be too happy about that finish either. Of course, should be happy for his teammate though, because like I said, Kiwi getting 2nd place. That's still gonna be a good spot there for McLaren. But what a race there! Race 10 here for the ARL Division 2 Championships. Kinkaro running away with it for that big victory here. With only 4 races left to go. Maybe might only be 1 or 2 more races left here, James, before Kinkaro might even take this one out for this season.
Yeah, this is very spicy now. So I think that Cairo was already in the lead, and that will extend his lead significantly over Chu and Flukesy. So he's going to be feeling a lot more comfortable in the Drivers' Championship, but he's definitely not safe yet. Still a few races to go, more than a few races to go. And yeah, I'll
And we
bring
know
up.
Chu can get the job done, right? I mean, like we said, we saw him win at Hungaroring last week as well. So he's definitely going to be one of those drivers that is still in contention. Fluxy as well, still isn't too far behind, still might have a chance, but we're going to have to start hoping for Kinkara to have some shocking finishes if they're really, really going to have a big challenge for him. Otherwise, let's have to hope the stars align in these last few races.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring up the incidences from the race director on stream as well. So if anyone does need them, they will be there in the VOD, because we did have some discussion about that in the FIA.
Yeah, that's. I can't believe how rough that ending was for Basic, man. I mean, after
Yeah.
such a performance, but Minister down. We'll get it. We'll get him back to you boys for next week. He'll be fine. He'll be ready to go. But yeah, that's gonna do it here for us here for this anyway. We're gonna have some interviews coming up with James.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just cut us away temporarily. All right. So we'll see who's available, and we will get back to you guys. We'll try and I'm definitely going to try and get Basink, Cairo, and Fluxy, and then we'll see if we can't get them, who else we can get. So just bear with us, guys. Don't go anywhere. And remember, if you've got that Twitch Prime, give us that Prime sub. Show us how you support the racing. Thank you. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, so we have Kinkaro here, the race winner,
Oh
for a
yeah,
post-race interview.
that was a very intense race. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you caught me and Basink's battle.
Oh, mate,
We did.
it was essentially the main focus for about 5 or 6
Yeah,
laps there.
yeah, it was Perez like, man, the way he was slowing me down for Fluxy to catch up. But that was fair though. He battled fairly. He didn't like try pushing me off anything. But yeah, that was intense.
Yeah, mate. So, how are you feeling after this race with your current standings for the Drivers' Championship in Division 2? Are you feeling a little bit like you've got more breathing room, or what are your
Yeah, I
thoughts?
would say so. I don't want to jinx it, but the next few tracks, I feel that I'm fairly competitive as well. Like this was probably one of I was surprised myself with the pace I found. Like I had been struggling to do a decent quali lap here, but yeah, I pulled that lap out at the end. Not sure how, and yeah, when I saw I think did Chu get damage or something because he pitted again after we came out.
Yeah, he had a bit of a mix-up sort of there.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was good fun. That was a great race. No safety car, so it was all skill there.
Yeah, we did unfortunately have that VSC at the start.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, excellent race, Caro. Good job, mate.
Thanks, brother.
No
Thanks,
worries, thank
boys.
you.
I just wanted to ask real quick, man, while you're still here,
Yeah.
of course. Of course, like we're gearing up, obviously you're leading Drivers' Championship. You said that the next few tracks, you seem to be pretty comfortable on, you're ready to go for, and of course, it's deciding because it might be a bit of a switch up with the next track coming up.
Yeah.
Is there is there a track at all that maybe you're dreading a little bit where maybe you
Baku
might have a bit more
100%.
competition?
Yeah, Baku
Yeah.
100%.
I think
So,
that might be the go-to answer for everyone.
Yeah.
so are you
Yeah.
in favor of the swap or not in favor of the swap? Just to get your
Personally,
opinion.
I'm not in favor because it would make the last race a lot more interesting. But yeah, either way, Baku, like to be honest, I'll be happy if I finish the race. That's how much confidence I have.
I think that's
I
the
think,
confidence of most drivers, honestly,
yeah,
in
you're
a
not
kind of
alone
big
in
league.
thinking
So,
that.
Yeah. It's a
Awesome.
good racer. Cheers, boys.
Thanks so
Cheers,
much,
mate.
Caro. All right, let's grab Basink now and get the opposite side of that battle if we can. Basink, mate, how are you?
Pass.
Good lads. Good.
So we've decided we're nominating you as the Australian Minister of Defence, and you're essentially Sergio Perez's brother.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll take that. I'll take that appointment happily.
Yeah, so was that entirely just team orders and a team maneuver to hold out or to stay out rather and hold up Cairo and run those
Uh,
softs for so long, or what was the thought process behind that?
well, I was always going to extend it just to be the one stop, and go all the way to the end. So lap 13, lap 15 window. And yeah, so went all the way to the end. And then it just worked out that I was holding up Cairo. Flix was coming through. Was lucky though. I had a couple of spins early and had a couple of people really park the bus in front of sections and did run up at the back of someone by accident. Pack racing and braking a lot earlier to try and avoid them and just full lock up, can't do anything. But other than that, yeah, it was good. It was good fun. Also got a switchback, got some DRS and stuff like that on Cairo. It was good fun. But yeah, good fun for Japan, and hopefully I get 1 point for all that trouble. I ran over someone, must have spun or put debris on that last lap and tripped over it and had a puncture and just went straight into the wall. So
Oh,
unfortunate.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because all
we
we
were
caught at the
wondering
end
how
was
that
just
happened.
passing out like DNF. We're like, oh no, there's no way. Like, had
Yeah.
such a good race at the end like that. It's shocking. But yeah, no, well, and what was the most entertaining races? What we're saying like with James on the cast as well is definitely like probably the best use of teamwork, even if it was kind of indirectly in the end, right? It just was absolutely perfect that we've seen here in ARL and just one of the best battles that we've seen. Period. So super entertaining,
Yeah,
and you definitely entertained the Twitch chat as well.
yeah, we thought you
Yeah.
guys must have set that up or something. It just worked out so perfectly.
Oh, by the end of it, I think it did. Yeah, I've been on the good side of it. In another league, where being put in that position where I've got the card, a team card as the second place, let me skip away. But yeah, I'm not fighting for a championship at the moment. I'm just trying to fight for the constructors. So that's Flixie and Cairo's battle. And I'm just trying. My season was long gone early in the season with getting caught up in the midfield. So just trying to get some good points and trying to finish out the season strongly with the selection tracks we have left.
Awesome. Have you got anything else for him, Baz?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, the Red Bull striking again, Bass, and that's been a going joke for every year now with F1 stuff we've been a part of, right? But obviously, great to obviously see you and Flixie out there killing it. So looking forward to the rest of the last few weeks of the season with you.
Yeah, cheers, lads.
Yeah.
Hope to continue putting on the show.
Thanks, Baz. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, lads.
And we'll try and grab Fluxy for one last interview here. Whoop, did that not work? Yeah, bear with me. Fluxy, how are you, friend?
Not too good.
Not too good. Not too good. Are you a bit disappointed there? We were just had a quick interview with Baz and spoke about how he fought so hard for you to get you all that time up on Cairo. Not too dissimilar to what we saw with the Red Bulls in 2021 season, and you ended up unfortunately not being able to close it. What happened?
So I actually went on the wrong setup. I went with 9.9 wings instead of 9.7. So on the straights, Cairo was leaving me by 2 to 3 tenths every single time on the straight. So I just
Oh,
couldn't
that's
keep
rough.
up with him along the straight. So as soon as he got on the straight, he was just gone. But in the middle sector, I'd catch him, and then in the straight, he was just gone. I just couldn't do anything about it. So he just kept leaving me in the dust. But Bassing held up so well. He just held him up so strong, and he got a switchback in the chicane that gave him DRS again.
Yeah, we caught all that on the stream, mate. It was absolutely fantastic. We were like sitting on the edge of our seats watching that.
But Kyra had such a good race. He had so much pace around there. So props to him for that race. It was really well done from him.
Oh, such a good sport, Fluxy.
I know.
Yeah, and that's something I want to ask you about Flux as well, 'cause obviously you're in the chase of the championship with Chu at the moment, alongside right trying to catch Kinkari. There's a few races left. Like, how are you feeling in his last few races? And obviously Baku's a thing that's coming on. And we all know how we feel about Baku, right? But
Well,
how are you feeling going into it?
Baku's one of my actually favorite tracks. So I'm looking forward to
Oh,
Baku.
okay.
But
Well, there
I know Kyro's not really looking forward to it. So I'm hoping that
You're
it's going to
you're
come down to that race between us three, and then
you're
you
an
know,
absolute psychopath.
but I have a bit of advantage. So,
Uh,
but Spain, I can't. Spain, I'm probably DNFing Spain. I hate that track.
well, you take the S away from Spain, we don't know what to say,
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly.
All right. Anything else, Babs?
No, that's it for me. Just like obviously, good luck with the rest of the season. If you race the left fan, like we said to Bass as well, and some of the other guys, obviously this fight for the top three and even the constructors battle is like so entertaining, so it's fun to watch all around. And I know you guys are having a blast being a part of it. So obviously, best of luck with the rest of the season.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Thanks for casting tonight too.
No worries. Thank you, Flixie. Have a good night.
See you, boys.
All right, that pretty much wraps it up here with
What
round
a
10.
race, man! Race 10 for Div 2 championships, and of course, as you might have heard, we've talked about it if you're paying attention to the Discord. Of course, we might have a race swap up, so you either be joining us at Brazil for Interlagos for round 11, or of course in Azerbaijan at Baku. Either way, both super entertaining tracks, great race tracks to be on. And of course, obviously tune in tomorrow for the Div 1 championships, 8:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Savings time to catch the Div 1 guys here at Suzuka. I mean, if the racing here tonight is anything to go by, James, that Div 1 race should be really good as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for tonight, Baz. Thank you everyone for watching. And remember, we've got that subscription available now. So if you have that Twitch Prime sitting around, feel free to use that. And I'll see you tomorrow night for Division 1.
Catch us, guys.